Hey guys, this is Jay Wendell with Rock Rage Radio, and I am here with Danny, Amigo the Devil. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Oh, other than you just saying a little bit ago that you're basically dying right now.
Basically dying.
But you know, I feel in the heat, being like I said, being bigger dudes. It's just this type of weather is not always built for us.
Natural enemy.
Right. Oh, so man, I was so excited to see that you were going to be on this, be at this festival. I've been wanting. The last time you were anywhere nearby, last couple of times, I actually had tickets at least once, and something came up, and just the stars have aligned for me finally.
That's awesome. I'm kind of blown away that we're here, to be honest.
I mean, I look at it because there's the biggest thing I've always said about Amigo the Devil is that it's really, really hard to classify what kind of. I mean, it's because it's almost like trying to describe Johnny Cash to somebody, where you can't really pick a genre or even remotely. I mean,
that's pretty cool for me to hear. So thank you.
But I mean, one of the things I love so much about it is like you are so almost pleasantly, brutally honest with how you present yourself, your lyrics, and everything like that. So, I mean, how long have you been playing for now at this point?
Playing music in general, I've been playing since I was young. Like, I've been, you know.
So what made you decide to start up the whole Amigo the Devil project?
So I had bands when I was younger.
Okay.
And I played, I tried doing like thrash bands, grind bands.
Right.
And I just sucked at them. Like, I just sucked at my dexterity wasn't there.
Right.
My brain didn't work for writing what I liked listening to.
Right.
So I had to be honest with myself, and I called it quits. And then I was brewing full time. That was just my job. I was a career brewer.
Right.
Got bored. I had bought a banjo probably 2-3 years beforehand, as an ironic thing.
Right.
Because I never grew up listening to music that had banjo instrumentation and like that. And I was like, oh, it's a banjo, whatever. And I picked it up one day because I was bored. And it was the coolest instrument I had ever messed around with. And I started writing songs that day. And then started exploring, the roots of the instrument itself, and found how much more I relate to the storytelling in like Western songs, country songs, folk songs, and how dark it could all be.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things too, hearing you play is different than honestly what you would necessarily hear playing banjo-wise. Anyhow, it's one of those. You have such a unique take on everything.
Thanks. I definitely don't do any of the traditional. Like the claw hammer, the frailing.
You don't really fit in any of the traditional anything. Let's be real. So, and that's not a bad thing, not whatsoever. I always love anytime I can share your music with. Like I said, one of my friends I went to school with and grew up with. She like absolutely loves you, and like and she's at one point she's like, you need to listen to this. It's like I think she was going to see a show or something. It's like, you need to go see Amigo the Devil at some point. It's like, all right. It's like, here, I'm going to send you a couple tracks for you to listen to. Just do it. And I was just like, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, and when I listened to it, it was one of those things of, I had to process it at first because it wasn't anything that I like I said, you don't fit in anything I would expect. So, but
that's awesome.
Even being here, it's an interesting fit and everything, but I think it fits still. I mean, I think this festival is such a mix of everything that so I know you've done a couple other festivals here recently too, right? Or you are doing, or
we did Welcome to Rockville. We did Epicenter.
Okay.
We actually did one in Mexico City with Domination.
Oh wow!
Which was crazy.
Probably very warm.
Very warm, but honestly, it was so special.
So, how much have you had a chance to actually get outside of the U.S. as far as touring and stuff like that?
Unfortunately, not much at all. We've been trying, and
well, Mexico does count.
Mexico does count. I mean, we've done Canada as well.
Right. Well, kind of. I mean, that kind of counts.
Say that's like the half.
Not to say anything bad about our neighbors in the north, but still.
Wonderful people. It's been a process that we're gonna fix.
I feel like the nice thing about it is more and more people as time goes on knows who you are, and I think it's been a slow burn, and I think that's a good thing.
I enjoy that. I don't like the big explosion and then the
right.
fizzle.
And honestly, too, I think that as you gain people at that pace, too, you have a lot more heartfelt fans as far as how they feel about it, too.
To be honest, if I'm looking at it from my perspective, the reason I like the slow burn so much is because it gives me a chance to learn as it goes, as
right.
opposed to trying to fabricate or figure out how to go from here to here.
Right.
I like that I get to take these little baby steps. It's almost like a comfort zone thing for me where
right.
I'm scared of everything I don't know yet. So by creeping up on it,
right.
I'm just happy anywhere we are. Like this, to me, if this is the coolest thing that happens, this is cool as hell.
Right. So one of the things I really, really like about your music is the fact that you come from some really dark places at points, but it's such a positive feel to it. Like as far as viewpoint and everything like that. I'm assuming a good amount of what you write comes from what you've gone through, what you feel about everything, stuff like that. Although, like, how often do you just write random weird shit though?
I actually do a fair amount of both, where I do a lot of like story writing,
right,
full fiction,
right,
and then I'll write something that's almost like a diary entry, something personal. And then my favorite part, which is where most of the songs are born, is mixing the two. So I try to figure out how the reality of my situation relates to this completely fictitious, just brutal aspect of something dumb.
Right. So, let's see here. When you do the fictitious parts, everything like that, what are your influences more on that type of stuff? Like, I mean, because there's almost elements that almost seem horror related in points and stuff like that. I mean,
I'm definitely a horror fan.
That, which doesn't surprise me at
I'm
all.
Definitely a horror fan. But I read a lot of true crime when I was young.
Okay.
I was a big fan of true crime, and not so much because of the gore or the shock value. But
it's fascinating though, because
it is,
and it's one of those things. It's kind of that whole thing of there's certain points where you can almost relate to. There's other points where just trying to wrap your head around and everything like that, and just it's fascinating. I mean,
yeah. And I think trying to figure out why it's fascinating, I've found that most people don't want to admit that there is a relation between normal non-criminal activity people,
right,
and people who have crossed the line into this criminal territory. But if you pull the string from one side to the other, non-criminal, criminal, these atrocious, horrendous situations, right?
Right.
If they are caused by something like jealousy.
That's something that people can relate to.
People on this side of the string have felt jealousy, they just
right.
react to it differently.
Right.
Still jealousy.
Right.
And jealousy is the same exact thing as the rest of it. So it became fascinating to me that I feel the same things that these people feel.
Right.
I just don't react to them the same way.
Right.
And why do they react to it that way? And what could I do to not react that way?
Right. I mean, it's one of those things of sometimes, I don't know, the whole idea of like you processing it, because you know that, I mean, obviously we all feel jealousy, everything like that, people reacting differently, or really any other emotion, but what happened previous that led to that what causes the difference between you and me or anything like that. It's almost like it's that rabbit hole to kind of go down to try to understand how it all fits.
Yeah.
And I don't think you ever can, but that's actually part of the journey of it, I think, so.
You start looking at somebody like Henry Lee Lucas, who was just beat miserably every day of his youth.
Right.
Forced to witness atrocious situations with his mom and all that.
Right.
And that will be a different outcome than that same child being put in
a foster home, or even having a nice upbringing or anything like that. It's
anything.
It's all the way those puzzle pieces all fit, depending on how. Yeah. So, so what do you have coming up after this? I'm looking forward to new music from you at some point here. Damn it.
I know. Well, so we did had the record in October,
right?
And then we're gonna be we're touring forever. We're touring forever.
Forever.
That's it. That's what we do now.
Right. That's life, you know.
No, I always write because I do all the driving.
Right. Okay.
So I write while I drive, like just thinking and
that works. Do you ever just like record thoughts or anything like that while you're
my
going?
phone. Because I'll have those little mumbles. I'm like blah 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 blah. And so now we have a few weeks at home in June. I'll start putting those pieces together.
Right, and then right back out.
July to December.
July to December. Holy shit.
I'm gonna die.
Right. Hey, at least it's going through the fall and winter where it's not going to be too hot anywhere, really. See, so there's a bonus there.
Well, we've been out since September.
How often do you see home a year at this point?
A month and a half, 2 months.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. But now, what is so in this past year, what is the craziest thing that you've run into?
The weekend of May 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Okay.
We played Welcome to Rockville in Jacksonville.
Okay.
The second I finished playing, threw everything in the van, drove to the airport, flew to Mexico City.
Jesus.
So Friday Jacksonville, Saturday Mexico City, Sunday Chicago. And then Monday Gainesville.
Just how jet lagged were you after all of that?
It was honestly the worst I've ever felt in my life.
Oh,
and you know, it's funny because a lot of bands do that kind of stuff all the time.
Right.
Like they do that same grind.
But they try to keep it kind of in a row though, usually.
Yeah.
As opposed to
I just don't I don't know, it's something about because it is just two of us on tour.
Right.
So we don't ever have any extra hands to help with like merch and things like that. And
right.
It was hell to lug all that around through the airports and through cities, and I'm surprised we didn't miss anything.
Right. I mean, and I'm sure you guys were on a tight as hell schedule just trying to get everywhere.
Absolutely.
It just so man, that I can't even imagine. I've traveled a decent amount. I just can't imagine traveling that far that quickly and just that. Hopefully you didn't get sick or anything after that?
Oh, I did.
I mean, well, changing climates that rapidly,
it killed me.
Oh, yeah.
It was, the next week we were playing shows, but I was toast.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine, man.
Because I'm weak. But
I don't think you're weak. I think that the fact that you weren't dead is... So weird question I like asking everybody I actually interview. What's the most guilty pleasure, embarrassing album that you own?
So, I actually have a very hard take on guilty pleasures. I don't believe in them.
Okay.
I believe in just pleasure.
Right, fair enough.
But to answer the question, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, that.
Well, mostly my daughter's actually made fun of the fact that I have a Taylor Swift song that I played recently.
They're good songs. They're good songs.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I love that Billie Eilish.
Oh, okay.
Dude, she's got some fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool. But I'm a huge fan of anything that sounds
whatever
fun.
Sounds good to you. That's
yeah. Yeah, I'm not really genre specific in what I listen to.
You're not genre specific. Were we just talking about that?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm fairly certain it is impossible to peg you to a genre in the first place. So,
so it fits.
But, hey, man, I appreciate you coming out. I
appreciate you.
Great meeting you and everything.
Likewise.
And, man, you guys are so good.
Thank you so much. But thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, man. This is Jay Wendell. This is Danny from Amigo the Devil. And we're out.